Hello, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I will be guiding you on this journey. And this journey is going to start with a yap sesh. I'm going to make an intro, basically, that I'll put at the beginning of all of the readings. Honestly, because I just cannot repeat myself 12 or 24 times. My throat and body refuse. So anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna put the timestamp in the description. So if you're just kind of like you can fast forward to when the reading actually starts. And it's actually kind of funny. Like I keep stutter. It's actually like I have a lot of energy in my body, and it's like it's all trying to come out at one time, and it's like making me stutter. I've had to redo this video. This is the fourth time so far, because it's like my mind goes faster than my mouth, and then I'm like confused. I'm like, wait, what am I saying versus like what am I thinking? Like, they're just like not lining up, which is interesting. Like there is actually a new moon in Sagittarius tomorrow, which is actually right on top of my Neptune. So maybe that's why. And it's a sixth house. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm like, I'll find a way to blame astrology for anything. So I'm hoping now that I said that out loud and that I got that energy out of me, that I can just kind of like ground myself and get through this so that we can get on to the readings. So I don't know what I've already said already, but I will put the timestamp in the description so you can fast forward to when the reading actually starts. The first thing that I want to yap about, or that I want to share with you, is that I've decided, it's like I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks, but I haven't actually said it out loud. So it like keeps coming out weird, but whatever, like, well, it'll come out right at some point. But there's an offering that I want to extend to you. It's a 2-card spread, or a 2-card draw. The first card is the door, which is, the obstacle, the path, the, thing that you're coming up against, the opportunity, whatever, that type of thing. All the things that we think about when we think doors, right? It's either opening, closing, anywhere in between. It's something to also like step through and have curiosity around. And then the second card is going to be the key, which is the guidance or advice for how to move through it. And it will be written, and it'll be $3.33. Basically, how it will work is that you will Venmo me $3.33 and provide your email address in the description. And if you don't feel comfortable putting your email address in the description, I will provide my email address, and you can send me a screenshot of the payment. And then, of course, I'll have your email address to respond to. I'm trying to make it like as least complicated as possible. And I think that like if you make the thing private, then nobody else will see your information anyway. It'll be obviously just between me and you. So anyway, $3.33. It's a 2-card spread. Once I receive your, notification of your Venmo, then I'll shuffle the cards. I'll pull 2 cards for you, and I'll write down basically like what comes to me. And literally anything that does come to me. So there's not necessarily like a limit on how long or short it's going to be. I do intend to get those back to you within 24 to 48 hours, or shorter than that. I'm just kind of giving myself a little bit of a buffer there. And I'm going to be offering these for basically as long as it feels good, like for as long as the energy is there. So I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, of course, leave a comment, or you can reach out to me as well through email. Like I'll have my email in the description. Instagram works too. But yeah, so that's the most important part. I'm glad I actually got it out this time, though, and I'm trusting that it makes sense. The other thing for this reading, we're going to be doing a what is ending and what is beginning. And I was kind of like stewing or whatever, with the thought of doing 2026 readings. And I was just kind of like it just didn't feel quite right. Like, I don't want to do like a 12-month overview, because who remembers that? Like, who remembers that? I couldn't even tell you if what I heard or saw like in any of the year ahead readings that like I listened to or watched in for 2025, right? So I don't want to spend a lot of time or even like dedicate a lot of time to going month by month. So then I was like, well, I could just maybe do just a general spread, what's coming, what's going, like what's going to be the overall vibe. That didn't quite feel. Anyway, it finally came to me last night that I'm sure you've probably heard in multiple places that 2025 is a 9-year, which is completion, right? And with that means that 2026 is a 1-year, which is obviously a new beginning. So it's, about clearing out cycles, what cycle is truly coming to an end, and what are we now, I want to say blossoming into, which is interesting. Like blossom never like crossed my mind, but it's like, what are we now I almost kind of like, I keep getting this image of like a waterfall of, it's literally just cycling into the next thing. Like it doesn't necessarily even feel like a big stop and a big start. But it's almost just like that, the natural progression or even transition. Like, what are we transitioning into? And I also, whoops, mother of pearl. I looked up like what were the last 9s and 1 years, right? So the last 1 year would have been 2017. And let me just give you an example for myself, because I also think it's really cool to just reflect on where you are, where you were, and also even just to kind of have like dates ish, or in this case, years, like, to think back to 2017, for instance, which was a 1 year. And what was going on for you in 2017, but also what was going on for you in 2016, because that would have been a 9-year, right? And for me, in 2016, I got married. I'm pretty sure I got married during a Venus retrograde, which is not good. And and I want to say maybe a Pisces eclipse. I want to say, I can't remember for sure, but whatever, that was 2016. In 2017, I left that marriage. I put down my soul dog, the dog that like grew up with me, basically, kind of, I got her when I was, I think I was 19 when I got her. And when I put her down, I was 30 something. I'm like, what's dang it, I keep hitting the wrong button. That is so annoying. Let's see. I can't do math that fast. 34. In 2017. I was actually 33. I had to put her down in April. My birthday was in May. And actually, 5 days after my birthday is when I separated from my husband. And then a week after that is when I moved out. Didn't look back. I moved 3 times. Let me see. 1, 2, 3 times within 6 months. I moved into the place that I've been in since then. Like, so I've been here for the last 8 years, 9, however long, however long that's been. And yeah. So that was my 2016 and 17 actually too, which is interesting, is that going back even further, 2008 would have been the previous 1 year. And in 2008, I got my first like college degree. I got an associate's in graphic design. I got my first like real adult job, which was terrible, but I was independent, on my own with that. And then, so, that would have been a 1 year. I got that degree. I got that job. I can't remember if like anything else major happened that year. I don't think so. I might have moved like closer to that job. I just can't remember if it was that year or the following year. But also, okay, so 2008 would have been a 1 year. Then 2016 was a 9 year, which would have ended, that cycle. And in 2016, I got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. So it's just kind of interesting how, within that period of time, I got like 2 degrees and also like really officially ended my college or, like continuing education or higher education career, basically, because I don't think I would go back I've thought about going back for like, like an ultrasound technician or like x-rays or, something like that. But I just don't think I can. So anyway, it's interesting, so yeah, I mean, this is also an invitation for you to just kind of reflect and, where are you now? Where have you been? Did anything major happen in those years? The 1 year prior to 2008 would have been 1999, which is kind of funny because there was like that whole Y2K, kind of thing that was like happening around that time. I mean, obviously that was, the year 2000, but it was like the freaking out, also Prince has a song, 1999, hello. The prior one would have been 1990, and then 1981, 1972, 1963. So basically, subtract 9 from there or add 9, whatever. But yeah, it's just kind of cool to look back and also even just to like kind of welcome in a fresh beginning and to recognize too, like where you are, and maybe there are patterns or relationships, behaviors, thoughts, jobs, careers, whatever, that you have released or healed, from, and that's creating the energy or allowing the energy for you to move forward, and like I said, like transition into something new. And also, like, I don't know if it is just me or if it's like a collective thing of feeling ready for it. Like, I think I mentioned maybe the curiosity thing, which I think curiosity also breeds excitement. Just like being open, trusting ourselves, really just staying connected to our own truth. So, I haven't quite like necessarily figured out what the spread is going to look like. I think what we're going to do is pull some cards for like what is completed. Maybe I should write this down. So one pile, what's completed or ending. It's not even like leaving. I think completed is a good word. And then pile 2 is what's I keep wanting to like write starting, like what's starting. But again, it doesn't feel like a stop start. And I just cannot think of the word that, like, I mean, transition is like coming through, but it's like, what is another word? And like, do we look up the thesaurus? What's unfolding? Taking shape. Coming into focus, maybe. Activating. Okay. I mean, we'll see what words end up finding their way in, like, once I'm shuffling the cards. But like, what are we, like, I keep also wanting to say like falling into, because like I was saying, I keep seeing this like waterfall. Which also like feels very Fool card. Taking that leap, going with the flow, trusting. Also even just the water thing with intuition, and even like trusting like those big emotions. And I'm thinking even too, like the actual waterfall part, right, where it's the water actually falling. That to me almost kind of feels like the transition part, right? Because it's kind of like there's a direction that the water is heading into, right? But there's not necessarily control of it either. There's a direction and trust. Like, so honestly, I even fucking love that. Wow. I think these readings are actually going to be beautiful, and I'm really excited to get into it. And also, I just want to say, how cute is this effing tarot bag, dude? I'm going to put the Etsy shop of the girl who creates these in the description as well. She has 3 different sizes of these. I only have this size, but I have 3 or 4 of these all in different fabrics, but this one holds like this size of a tarot deck, but it'll hold a larger one. Like it's almost like oracle deck size. But look at the, you can choose 2 different fabrics. I'll keep a deck in there, and then I'll keep a selenite wand in there also, which is, it's like perfect. There's a clip, oh, I'm obsessed with these. And they're not just necessarily for tarot decks, but also, like it holds its shape. Like, bro, look at this. So cute. So anyway, we're using the Light Seer Tarot because honestly, like this is probably like my all-time favorite deck. And I'm also so glad that it said yes to me to do these readings, because before every reading I do, for YouTube readings, I'll ask, do you want to do all of the readings? Because you got to do them all. But I shuffle the deck and either a yes card comes out or a no card. And I honor that, because we're all about consent over here. So anyway, I'm so glad that the Light Seers Tarot agreed to do these readings for us, because again, like I think that they're going to be beautiful. And I think that's all that I want to say for now. So let's jump into the reading. Great. So why, hang on. Let me wipe this thing down. Stand by. Okay, I don't know if that made any bit of difference, but I feel better now. And also, I'm like, why did my keyboard leave? And I just, okay. This is going really well for Sagittarius so far. So, okay. Are we joking right now or no? Okay. Like, let me just get locked in. Anyway, okay, so this is a reading for Sagittarius finally. Wherever Sagittarius is in your chart, and a breakdown of the reading is in my long-ass intro, yap sesh. But just a quick reminder, we're going to pull some cards on what was mastered in 2025. And then we're going to pull some cards on, love that, on what is unfolding going into 2026. We have the Star card. And I just kind of want like 2 more cards for what was mastered in 2025. Also, too, like, check out what would be like your personal year number, which is adding your birth month, your birth date, and we have the Hermit in reverse. What did I say? So your birth month, your birth date, and the year. So, whatever your month and date, and then 2026, which is obviously like a 1. So, I know, like for me, it's a personal year 8, which I believe like 8 is abundance and mastery and, almost even like flowing of energy, like with the infinity symbol. So take that. One more card for Sagittarius. Okay. Crazy how that came out. Interesting. Okay, we're just going to leave it like that for now. I think we've got room. That's the 8 of Swords, sideways. We have the Death card for what's unfolding. I don't take the cards that flip in the deck like that. If it was serious, it would fall out all the way. That's how I see it anyway. That's how I do it. All my cards know that too. We're all on the same page. 2 more cards for Sagittarius. Sagittarius, what's unfolding? Love that. 10 of Pentacles and one more. Too many. Patience is, there we go. Oh, patience is unfolding. Okay. This is gorge. This is gorgeous. Let me make sure everything, yeah, we got room. Okay. Patience. So over here, what was mastered? We have the Star card, Hermit in reverse, 8 of Swords sideways. I mean, it's definitely like the vibe over here is very internal, very like closed in, very kind of like battling yourself, but I think battle is probably too strong of a word, but it's like going back and forth with yourself and maybe even some trouble with getting clarity. And again, I don't even think trouble is the right word, which is kind of interesting because it's like almost getting into the semantics of things. And I halfway wonder if that is also the energy of this. It's like, again, clarity. It's like the vibe not matching the mindset, or the goal not matching the I want to say intention, but that's, I don't think the right word. But like I said, like I wonder if this is a process that you had found yourself in, not just in 2025, but maybe for a period of time. But it's like there was some, oh my God, am I going to say clarity one more effing time? Yeah. And it really was like sifting through why you maybe even had the goal, why you even set the intention. It's like what was the truth even in that? And was that true for you? Like, was it just like trying to keep up with the Joneses, or like was it, a conditioned response or a conditioned need that you were wrapping a dream or a manifestation or even an intention around, but ultimately it's like it wasn't really yours, but it's like what you thought you should have had, or what you thought would, like make you feel fulfilled or purposeful. So it's like, okay, how do I build a life, or how do I level that like within myself so that I can start making moves towards something? Like, if I'm confused or just not sure on what it is that I actually want and why I want it too, then how am I supposed to get it, type of thing? Because this feels like something coming into like focus here. It's very internal work. It's a lot of, the star card is hopes and dreams. The hermit card is introspection and isolation. It's, the journey being unique to you. I think reversals are also like more of an internal process versus an external expression. Like, I don't think that, I mean, in some cases, that it's the opposite meaning of the upright card. But I mean, in this case, it could be again that like your external world or your internal world was not matching the external or internal, like vice versa, whatever, however that, like fits for you. And, it's like making moves towards something, or, having your mind set on something, but then like your gut is telling you something different, or your intuition is kind of not fighting you, because I don't think your intuition does that, but your intuition is like telling you something different. And it's like just the disconnect and the confusion that comes from that, because it's like, why am I focused on this thing, and why do I have so much anxiety, or I feel like trapped in a certain capacity. And maybe too that it's the trapped feeling, or the trapped perception that you have been working on overcoming, or revamping even. I do think, since this is on the side that has been mastered, I think you do have now a pretty good idea of why you do the things that you do, what your goals are, what your ambitions are, like what process that you are trusting. It's like, it's at least having more clarity on the direction that you're heading in. There's some sort of release of pressure is also like how this feels. Because I mean, even like this Eight of Swords, right? Like in the mirror, they're wrapped up, and I call the Eight of Swords like a self-inflicted mind prison. It's like literally being one decision away, but it's also just feeling overwhelmed by too many possibilities, by even a lack of possibilities too. Like just kind of feeling like you don't have a way out, or you're just not really all that happy with the options that you do have. And also too, that would have been coming from a place of like scarcity or lack, or an old limiting belief. And I also, again, like I think you really kind of dug back into like the Sagittarius energy of, no, I mean, things will work out. It's the confusion and the mindset and, my perception of possibilities or lack thereof that is like creating the anxiety. But it's like once you start making moves, and that could be why this, I almost said this Virgo card. The Hermit is Virgo. The star is Aquarius. I mean, the South Node has been in Virgo. It'll be there until I think July, maybe, of 2026. Pluto is in Aquarius right now. So, wherever those placements are for you. But yeah, it was almost like with this Hermit being reversed, it was almost like the inaction that was possibly causing the anxiety. Maybe even too, like just kind of that point of like waiting for the clarity to come before you start making moves. Because like with this star card here, it's kind of like you have a North Star, right? Like you have a direction that you're heading in. But like if you were waiting for confirmation of that, or if you were waiting for, I don't know why I always have to add an or statement. And it's like, I'm literally saying two same exact things in two different ways. Like what is that? Like, what is that? What is that? I don't know. It's like I can't just put a fucking period on a sentence or something. Like or something, right? Like I have to, I'm just, okay, I'm doing it again. All right. So that's got to be something with me, like thinking that I'm not being very clear. So I have to give options. Or I was just going to do it again. Like I have to add information to be sure that I'm like, I don't know, being clear or something. What the hell? Okay. I will deal with that later. I won't unpack that here with you guys, kind of. But anyway, that, that could even fit in like with this though too. Like, why am I doing that? Like, why? Because it's very, like it really is like observing your thoughts, your beliefs, your anxieties, your fears, your even like your optimism and your pessimism. Like it's examining those things and being like, what the fuck is that? Like, why do I do that? And is that true? Is that necessary? Like, am I putting too much energy into something that is inconsequential? But yeah, so anyway, I was saying before I like sidetracked that it really is. And I don't know if this is like just an overall like fire sign type of energy, but it's like one of those things of the clarity comes as you move. The clarity comes as you make decisions. But then it like gets murky, or it gets like confusing if there's too many or not enough. And especially probably too, depending on even your like state of mind at the time, or like what you are considering what you're even like digging into. I also think though that like if you were doing that, I think that it was really in an effort to like really hone in your process and not like leech energy or like not spend energy in places that is just unnecessary. It's just, you know, like a waste of energy for whatever reason. And whatever that energy is, whether it's money, emotional energy, you know, like your time, of course, you know, like your mental process. What am I missing? What you try to do or the things that you take action towards. It's like, and maybe too, also just that it's like recognizing or because sometimes it's like I'm finding a better word. Other times I am like adding for sake of clarity, which is just feels unnecessary. So again, like I do wonder if like that has been an energy that not necessarily just 2025. You know, maybe it's something that's been building. But again, like it's definitely something that you got a grasp of, like you saw really clearly, and maybe too with the star card being here, you were able to make adjustments to that, or even really trust your North Star, whatever it is. Because, you know, I think the North Star for us, the proverbial North Star, like it changes, right? Like, I mean, it could change multiple times in an hour. Like, but that the North Star is like what feels good and what your own compass. Because the Hermit card is, for me, it's a message about everybody's path being unique to them, as it should be. And it's not emulating what you do based on somebody else's template, but it's also it could even just be like getting inspiration, like, oh, that person did it that way. I honestly didn't realize the possibility in that. I'm gonna do it in a way that works for me, right? But it just like kind of gave you an aha moment, and then you made it your own type of thing. And also, I don't think that's something that is new to you. I don't think that's something that you weren't aware of before, but I think it's definitely something that you locked back in with. You know, like remember who you are. What cartoon is that from? Is that The Lion King? You know, it like this Eight of Swords could have kind of blocked that a little bit if things were uncertain. You know, if you really got into an energy of strategizing and just, you know, really making sure that you're secure and all of those things. But it, you know, it's almost kind of like forgetting that you do always have that North Star. I don't think forgetting is even the right word, but just not, you know, either taking it into like consideration or even using it for its intended purposes, right? But that happens when we get into like fear and scarcity and anxiety and uncertainty and shit, right? Like it's just kind of like survival mode. Hello. See, and that's why I do that sometimes too. It's because like it's for my own clarity. Like I know the right words will eventually come if I just keep saying shit. See what happens? That's even that I feel is it's like again, I was even fucking saying like clarity comes through taking action. Like clarity comes from movement. But it's also it's like observing your patterns and your behaviors and your thoughts, and it's like, why do I do that? And then it's like, oh, that's why. That's why I do that. But also like no doubt that there were some processes in there that you were like, I don't need to do that. Or I am doing that out of this scarcity and lack, or like, that's what my process is. Or that, you know, that like when you get into like the 8 of Swords mindset, you need to check in with yourself and be like, am I following my North Star? What am I taking action towards? And is my lack of action the thing that is causing me this anxiety and fear and whatever? Because I know from my whole life that if I'm in this mode, I need to take action towards something. Or that there's even like just a pent up amount of like fire energy, whatever, because I think they call like Sagittarius the fieriest fire sign, right? And what happens when a bunch of fucking fire like kind of gets pent up, right? It just explodes. We have the two. Also interesting that we start with the star card, we end with the sun, which is the star, right? I mean, the sun is the star that we orbit around, right? What the fuck? Like, she has this lasso around the sun, right? Really locking in to that. This person is like now receiving. There's no ounce of like an attempt to control or be connected to this scarcity, this freedom, liberation. This is like knowing that you will get exactly what you want. You will get exactly what you deserve. You will get like the exact result, you know, from the actions that you take. This is also even the trust that even like the star card talks about, trusting the process, having faith. You know, like I said, ambitions, even like, I always see the star card as being like that literal space between the 5D, or, you know, like where we co-create our lives, where we are literally molding and putting together and getting clear on the direction that we're heading in, the life that we want to live. And then the physical 3D where we are, and it's the literal space between those two things. And it's, you know, like bringing those two things together, but it's also like having that clarity in order to do that. There's meditation over here as well. Whether you were like intentionally meditating or just unintentionally meditating, like it's not necessarily that you have to just be sitting or laying there still and quiet and you know, try to clear your mind and all that shit. Like, no, I think meditation happens anytime that we are focusing attention and energy towards creation of things, you know, or even trying to hear yourself and even picking through that shit. I love that we start with a death card, and it has this infinity symbol down here that I even mentioned. Granted, I mean, I was talking about that in relation to the number 8, but 8, this is 17, which simplifies down to an 8. The Hermit is a number 9. 13 is 4. The 10 of Pentacles, obviously a 1, and then the Sun card is a 19, which simplifies down to a 1 as well. Scorpio, Leo. Jupiter is going to be going into Leo next year as well as the South Node. So wherever Leo is for you on that, what would that be? Your 9th house? If you're a Sagittarius rising. But this definitely feels more, well, I was going to say it definitely feels more like a rebirth, but I think it's both. Like, of course, duh. Like, the Death card says that literally a new beginning disguises itself as an end. And one is only possible if the other happens. Like, a new beginning is only possible if there is an end, if there is something that is left behind or, closed out, or, you make the decision that you're not going to give that thing energy. Also, I love that even the Sun card talks about rebirth. So this is more of the emotional side. This is also more literally the depths of your being, because it's Scorpio, which talks about the underworld. So this is even just a true overhaul or rebirth of all that shit that we were like, it's like, again, reconnecting to your own truth. And maybe too, the actions that you have been taking, you're starting to see the fruits of those labors, and it's like finally clicking or finally just leveling out, where you're getting further away from this 8 of Swords, which could also be like, the rebirth type of energy, just feeling supported here, like feeling hopeful for the future. Like there's a legacy and generational wealth, or even like generational consideration happening here, forwards and backwards. It's, maybe recognizing that what you are doing, or the direction that you're heading in, the things that you're trying, or the things that you're like putting your energy and your focus into, is not something that you were raised to do, or not something that anybody in your family has ever tried to do. So it's really forging a new path. And I think it's also even just a consideration that, like, you're walking so the next generations can run. Like, you're the one that's forging the path, because you know that it's possible. You have the capacity, you have the knowledge, like you even have the risk taking to do that. Is definitely going to pay off. Like, also to any type of struggle, any type of lack, any type of also like internal process that you have been in, that's also even going to come to an end. Like the 10 of Pentacles, this feels like an outward expression. This, even look at this, right? Like this even kind of looks like the North Star type of thing. So we have like big North Star energy, but big like star energy in general. Sun, star, it's the same thing. Maybe you should name a star after yourself. I know that's possible. I just don't know how much that costs. But um, then it would like almost be like a representation of, because they give you a map of like where your star is. Granted, like I don't know how easy it is to like find it, but as somebody would, if you couldn't do it, like somebody would be able to help with that. But it's like it would literally be following like your own star, right? Like I actually think that's a really good idea. But yeah, like over here, very internal. Oh, that's what I was saying. Like that inside of this cloak here, this cape or whatever, right, is this star. Like there's some sort of like internal process here that's happening. And maybe it is just that you truly locked in with yourself again. Because like I said, like there's no way that this would be like your first time. It's just remembering. What is that from? Remember who you are. I feel like it was Rafiki. Yeah, Lion King. Simba forgot who he was, but his father didn't. You are my son, the one true king. A pivotal moment happens when Mufasa's ghost appears to Simba in the sky, urging him to look inside himself, overcome his guilt, and reclaim his rightful place in the circle of life as king. And we all know, because we've all seen this movie, right, that it wasn't actually him that was the cause of Mufasa dying. Right? Like, but he was carrying around all this guilt. And that's what I mean. Like, even over here, right? Like you might be doing things that it's like the first in your family, the first in your generation, the first in your friend group, that, or just even like being separate from that or like the trust that you have in yourself, in the process, in God, source, divine, your higher self, without your intuition even, is maybe something that a lot of people don't exhibit themselves. And it's like, it's easy to, we were talking about that, like just kind of separate from that when there's concern, when there's uncertainty. Over here, Mufasa is like showed himself to you as a ghost and you're locked back in. And also too, it's like there is this certainty, there is this surety that the goal that you have, the direction that you're heading in, the actions that you are taking in a certain direction, this is the goal. This is like what you won't settle for anything less. And also, too, that more than likely, you don't even have to push that hard. They're standing under the sun just receiving. They're both just kind of standing there with these pentacles in their hand. There's not a ton of effort. I mean, of course you have to put effort in, right? I mean, like you have to be the one to like take the actions and do the things and set those intentions, and I mean, intentions are just ideas with action, right? Like you cannot have one without the other. If you don't have action, then it's just an idea. If you don't have an idea to why you're taking the actions that you're doing, then how can you possibly recognize a result, right? Like how could you possibly know that you are getting what you want out of a thing or that you're heading in the right direction, right? Like you have to have both in order for that to work, This also, I keep looking at this symbol and I can't for the life of me remember what it is. It almost is kind of reminding me of like human design, but it also is just kind of giving me this feeling of timing and truly everything, however old you are, wherever you are in your life, like every experience that you have had, every doubt, every uncertainty, everything that's ever worked out, everything good, bad, otherwise, has led you to this place that, you know, it's led you to this place of confidence and security and knowing, because it's like, that's all that I need, is to know this is the direction that I'm heading in. This is my intention. I'm taking actions towards that, and it is going to work out. You know, that's it. That's all you need. I love this for you. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.